On today's show, I'm going to present you with a beautiful asparagus, and I'm going to show you how to put it together for an asparagus risotto. So I'm just going to set this aside for a minute and show you that the very first step is to take 6 cups of chicken broth and add it to a pot, and then you're going to put it on medium and let it heat up. In order to have minced onions, I'm first going to cut them in small pieces and add them to a wooden bowl, and then I'll chop it and make finer pieces, and then I'll add it to some olive oil in the fry pan, and you'll see that it'll blend in much better with the risotto mix. So I have about a cup of onions, and if you're adverse to the odor or the cutting of onions, you can always use rubber gloves, but I love onions, so I don't mind. And now you want to get it so that you have it really chopped up. Now I'll add a few tablespoons of olive oil, and then the onions, and I'll mix them until they are translucent, so they have like a pearl look to them. So you get the onions in, and keep watching the broth. I have it on the back burner because it's heating on medium, but you just want to make sure it doesn't start to bubble. And you have it here, and just keep stirring until you see that it's translucent. I have here a ½ pound of asparagus, and I've just rinsed them. And just check, and if you see some of the bottom pieces are a little white, it's sort of a thick stalk. You might want to just remove a few of those pieces. Otherwise, if they look fine, just go with it. And the recipe calls for 1 inch pieces of asparagus, so just line them up and just cut accordingly. They're very easy to cut, and once they get into the rice mix, they'll soften and break up a little bit. But just go to close to 1 inch and you're fine. Good. You want to make sure that you get it so that it's not brown. You want to make sure that it's clear and pearlescent. Now I'm going to be adding some minced garlic, and then I'll put the Arborio rice into the fry pan, mix it all together for about 2 to 3 minutes. Make sure you have lemon zest prepared as well. And now I'm going to add a cup of white wine. Do it slowly so it doesn't splatter. And use a wooden spoon now. I'll go over to the broth and just add ladles, a little at a time, and just keep mixing the rice and onions as you go along. Now you see how the broth is thickening, and you'll add the asparagus very carefully. We'll spread it all over there, and then you also want to add your parsley, and the last thing is the lemon zest, and it's only a teaspoon, but that's all you need for now. And then once we take it off the burner, I'll add a few more things. See how it's thickening up? This is perfect. And now I'm going to remove it from the burner. This is the Parmesan cheese and the butter. Now, if you wanted to add a few more pieces of butter and some Parm cheese, you can do so, but I find that this is ample, and you just stir it all in. It is scrumptious. You will absolutely love it. Let's add a little bit to a dish, and naturally, as the asparagus sits in the rice mix, it'll become softer, but right now it's absolutely perfect. And I don't want to really try it at this point because it's very, very hot, but I'll just lift a forkful up, and as you can see, it looks great, it tastes great, and I have a few more surprises that I'm adding to the plate, so stay tuned. In order to have the risotto become a nice meal, I've decided to have lamb chops on the side. So this is a rack of lamb, and I've cut it up, and I have also defatted it so that it really should come out beautiful. So I added some spray, and here's the baby lamb chops, and I'll add a little bit of garlic powder, and once it's brown on both sides, I'll then transfer it to a bake tray and put it in the oven. Now I'll just sprinkle it with a little bit of garlic powder. That's my choice of seasoning. You might want to add salt and pepper. but this is fine. Here. And I'll begin the bake process at 350 degrees. Now I'll add a little bit more garlic powder on this side as well. And in a few minutes, I'll transfer it to a bake tray and put it in the oven. As long as it's brown on the outside, you're fine. And once it's in the oven for a while, just watch it. You can test it, and you'll see that it's cooked all the way through. Okay, I just want to check the lamb chops. They've been in around 10 minutes, and I just want to make sure that they are coming along. I don't want them to be too burnt, and they're good. They could be another 5 minutes or so. They're very, very soft, very nice. So I will put these back in for another 5 minutes, and I think they should be absolutely perfect. The lamb chops just came out in there like between medium and well, and so soft, so soft. And I'd like for the videographer to show all the beautiful lamb chops that are going on the side with our beautiful risotto. And for another side, I'd like to show you how I'm going to make some salmon. I'll prepare it by first adding some water to a fry pan. Let this come to a boil, and then I'll show you an easy process of taking off the skin. I know there are different ways of skinning salmon, and I'm going to show you the way I've chosen today. And I have about a ½ inch of boiling water going right now, and I'm just going to lay the salmon in there, skin on, let it rest for a few minutes, and then I'll take it off and put it on this, and hopefully be able to take it and pull off the skin easily. If not, I'll try a different method. Now I'll take it out. I'm going to shut off the pan so it doesn't dry out. We have that. Now you take the skin, just very gently flip it just a little bit and hold it down with paper towel, and I've got some of it. The rest I think will soon follow. And that's pretty good. That's like half done. And by taking it out right away, you're not cooking everything, which is terrific. Now look at that. You have a skinned salmon. Now I'll do it with 2 more pieces. if you notice, it's starting to cook a little bit, so you want to take it out, check it, and this ought to be fine. Good. Okay. And you can let it cool for a second, then flip it over, and just peel it back very gently. Naturally, it's hot. Might want to take a paper towel. That's what's recommended. And just go very carefully. And there you have a skinned salmon. There's one. And we'll try the other. Again, just carefully. And this one isn't too hot, so I'm peeling it by hand. And sometimes it'll come off in a few pieces, but basically you have it and it's ready to be cooked. Sometimes people use oil, but I'm going to do a butter substitute, and I'm keeping it on medium. Get the salmon in the pan and season with, I prefer garlic powder. My husband prefers beautiful lemon pepper. So I'll take a little bit and sprinkle it. I don't like to overdo it with seasoning. People might want to add it on later. And I'll do a few with garlic. And you let it simmer for a few minutes. And then we'll turn it over. Okay, I've decided to season it a little bit on this side as well. And let it simmer on low for a few minutes, and then put it in a bake tray and put it in the oven and watch it carefully, test it, and you should have a very, very tender salmon. Good. And that's 350 degrees, and you'll see. Just take a little taste, and you'll see how it is. I know I'm backtracking a little, but I want to show you. Here's the beautiful asparagus risotto, and some of it's already been eaten. There's plenty more to go. Then we have the beautiful rack of lamb and the baby lamb chops. And here's the delightful meal with the salmon, a wonderful variety. So you have such good choices here, and I hope you found it easy to follow the directions, because it's very, very simple. And if you have any questions, just get in touch with WCAT, and I'd be glad to send you the recipe, and hope you have a delightful winter treat.